Trends is back.
And we got pizza.
It's the beginning of a new year and time to grow your business. Go to theslanted.com/business class, sign up for my business coaching class. I'll help you grow your business. Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And Lars Lindstrom.
And Trends is back.
We are back.
We are indeed. But it's now the new improved Trends.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know if it is or not.
We're in a different spot.
We are in a different spot.
So that's new and something.
But it is now Photo Video Trends, and that's the way it'll be listed on our site. And Photo Video Trends, it'll post on the second Thursday of every month.
Photo Video Trends.
Photo Video Trends.
I was a little bit bummed that photo came before video, personally.
You know, I love them both, so it didn't matter to me. I just flipped a coin.
No,
I didn't.
What a
put
diplomat.
Photo
What a gent.
first. I love them both.
Yeah,
I
do
indeed.
too. I do
I do indeed. So, but here's the situation for our trends. If we have an affiliate program with both Amazon and B&H, and if you will purchase the things that you need through our affiliate program, it will finance Trends from the Trenches. It'll keep us posting to YouTube and our podcast. So support us in any way you can. I know that's a hard thing sometimes for people to grasp, but
No, I don't know. I feel like it's balancing out now, right? People have finally come to the terms with the fact that eventually people might have to get paid if they're doing things full time for free, mostly.
Well, there you have it. So support us through our affiliate program, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. Great.
So let's get started.
Let's do.
First topic.
Yeah.
I put this one on there because I was just so frustrated this last week when I was doing a still shoot. The Jody Sweeten, not just that. Well, actually, a couple of cents Jody Sweeten. I'm trying to tether to Lightroom, and I hate it.
Oh, okay.
I just hate it. It is so incredibly slow, and it just brings your images in so slow. It's not immediate. And so I knew it. I've known it forever. I just gone back to Capture One. Of course, Capture One has a new version out, which is version 9, which is actually getting great reviews. It's more robust. It has a lot more of the features that Lightroom had, which is the ability to enhance your images and to work on things. It doesn't allow plugins, which is really an unfortunate thing when you're working.
Do you have quite a few plugins that you like to use?
Yeah, there's a lot of things you're going to use, and so that's a little unfortunate. But for me, I kind of put it in the category of this gets my images into my computer quickly. I can do small changes. I can look at them there.
Yeah.
It just is a lot more seamless in that way.
And it's a lot faster than Lightroom?
Oh, my word. I mean, we're talking, it's off the charts faster.
What isn't Lightroom?
I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand what the situation is there. And I'm not an expert on Lightroom or on Capture One, but I just know in using them that Capture One is a lot faster and a lot better.
Yeah.
So, but check out the new versions. Capture One Pro 9, I think, is worth checking out. So
awesome. Great. What else we got? This is 2 of mine.
Is it 2 of yours?
Yeah.
Well, let's go for it.
Okay.
Got the Canon, the new Canon EOS 1DX Mark II, which has some pretty robust features.
Yeah, but for me, it's a comparison between the first 1DX, right? So are they robust compared to the first one? Because I feel like we have the Nikon D5, right? And the 1DX Mark II. Those are like the two kind of back-to-back cameras from Nikon and Canon. And I feel like the D5 did a lot to try and make up some of the lost time there.
Ground, yeah.
But I don't know if Canon did. I don't. What are your thoughts on some of the robust features?
I think the most important thing is that it's an affordable 4K camera. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
they're trying to get 4K into a camera that is still a decent still camera.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't break any barriers with still cameras. It's still like a 20 megapixel camera. It's no greater than the Mark III.
I think it's 24 or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not much different than the Mark III.
Yeah.
So
improved ISO, which is, of course, very welcome. I think everybody's kind of moving that way. And not only 4K, but I think you can do 4K at 60 frames a second.
You can. Yep. 60 frames a second.
But is it an affordable 4K camera though? Because it's still $6,000.
Well, you're now looking at you're comparing that with things like the Ursa Mini, which we should talk about. But the Ursa Mini is not a still camera.
No.
So it's a matter of, do you have people that are in that category wanting both of these and be able to use one camera for both these worlds, stills and video? Which there are people out there that want to.
But you've got the Sony, blowing the market away right now with the Sony A7R II.
40 megapixels.
Right, which does 4K video, and that's coming at about $3,000, $3,300.
Which you can also, you take your 4K video off from that monitor to an Assassin or something. Now you've got a ProRes.
Exactly.
You know,
So
which
you
is
can, you
a
can
great
work with
setup.
the color a little bit more. Now, so that's what I'm wondering. So I feel like all these other, even Panasonic and especially Sony are coming out with these cameras that are 4K still cameras. Maybe they don't have quite as fast autofocus. Maybe they don't have a full frame sensor all the time, but like the A7R does. And so what, that's half the price. What are you getting in the 1DX Mark II that you're not getting in the A7R2 or another camera like that? Or even the D5? Because the D5, what is it, like 4 million ISO now?
Yeah, I don't think you're getting anything with this camera that you're not getting with the A7R2.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Yeah, just it's
No.
a titanium body maybe.
It's a more robust body. It's a way
Magnesium.
people are-
Magnesium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are used to working with the DSLR. It's a different workflow. When you shoot with the Sony, and it's a different process when you shoot stills. It's not quite as fluid.
Right,
The
right.
preview process is
I
more
will say
difficult.
I do not enjoy shooting stills on my Sony camera as much as I did shooting on a 5D Mark III. I just don't enjoy it as much.
And that's because of?
Well, the looking through the viewfinder, I'm looking at pixels instead of real life.
Yeah.
And no matter how fast your processing is on a camera, it's not going to refresh fast enough for me to immediately see what's happening, the action. So if I'm seeing with my real eye, a smile or a moment or a wave, I've already missed that moment because I'm trying to refresh my pixels in camera. And so I don't know what I've captured. And I on a single lens reflex camera, I do.
You do. You
You
see
can
exactly.
see it right as it's happening.
That's the flaw. That's the downside of the Sony.
Yeah.
It really is a downside.
Yeah.
And that's a hard workflow. I was trying to make myself get accustomed to that workflow, and it's a little difficult. I finally turned the preview off completely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do
And,
that.
It's the
And
only
then
way I can
recall
make
it.
it work.
Yep.
And then I'm having to hit the button on the back every so often. Is my
Just to
exposure
recall.
right?
Right.
Is this right? But that's when you're shooting. When I'm controlled shooting, you're talking about when you're street walking. You're taking pictures of,
Yeah.
it's much different than if you're in controlled shooting. In a controlled situation, that camera hits it out of the park.
Yeah. I only that's when I take a camera, it's only kind of just improv in the moment, street stuff. But that's what I don't really do stills very much except for that. So.
Well, it is interesting that these two cameras, the Nikon 5D and the
D5.
Sorry, D5.
You're a Canon guy.
I am a Canon guy. The 1DX are very similar in price. They're just around that almost 6,000. actually.
6,000.
So
Yeah.
they're in that price range.
Yeah, which actually is interesting. Canon dropped the price $500 from their introductory price on the last 1DX.
Yeah.
So I think they are trying to figure out where they are in the market right now.
It's interesting to me though that when the 1DC came out,
Was it $12,000?
it was $12,000, but it was a 4K camera. But I feel like this is kind of like that. Like Canon's kind of testing the water, but they're going to come up with something that's a Mark IV or something that's going to be a little more aggressive, not so expensive, and it'll have 4K capabilities.
I think so. I think you're right. So they're they have to compete with that Sony A7R2.
And I think the
They have
megapixels,
to.
they do. And the megapixels got to go up. They're
You
gonna
think
have to do, they've got to do a 30 or a 40 megapixel camera.
Well, I mean, with the 5DS, they have that. It was 50 megapixels.
Yeah,
So-
but it's not a video camera. They've got to get
Right.
something in that crossover platform that does both those worlds.
Yeah.
Does it very well in
Yeah.
the 4K version.
Even though the photo site on the pixel is going to be smaller, so you're going to get a little bit more noise in your video. But at 4K,
Everyone wants 4K. I met with a
Everybody
client
wants 4K.
yesterday for lunch, and they said, well, we're shooting this 4K, right?
weird.
It's like,
Weird. It's the buzzword.
it is. It is. It's like, So tell us about your 4K TV.
Okay.
Tell our listeners about your foray into the 4K world of television.
Sure. So I bought a 4K TV for on the Black Friday sales after Thanksgiving, and I was excited about it. And I bought an Amazon 4K, the Fire TV thing. So I was like, you got a 4K TV, you got to have some sort of 4K
You're
content.
going to want to watch 4K on
So, all right, so I put the TV up on the wall while I was waiting for this thing to ship to me. And it finally came in the mail, so I took it off the wall, rested it on my entertainment console, and I went to get the box, and the TV just tipped right over.
Oh, that's so terrible.
It was just one of those split-second things, and it landed on my coffee table and just shattered the TV. just shattered, gone.
Never watched anything on it.
Well, I'd watched like an episode of like New Girl.
And who wouldn't?
And who wouldn't? Well, you know, like, so no. So the answer is no. I didn't watch anything on this TV. Nothing, certainly in 4K content.
Yeah.
And I smashed it. And of course, there's like, no, I got the extended warranty from Best Buy, but they can't cover accidental damage. They just go out of business. So there's nothing they can do. And long story short, my credit card that I bought it with is going to be able to pay me back, but there's like still a lot of
Still going on?
It's still going on.
Oh my word. Did you buy another one?
No, I was too mad. I even went back and they were like, well, we'll honor like the price that we gave you for Black Friday, and I just went, no.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
I was not meant to have a 4K
I wasn't
TV.
meant.
Not
it was
this
just
year.
not this year. It was just premature. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
2 more lenses.
Announced by Samyang.
Samyang.
The Rokinon. Those. So they got these PL or EF mount cinema lenses, and I wasn't super enthusiastic about the original 3 that they announced. Now they got the 14mm and the 35, which we knew were coming. But here's the thing, it's still the same glass as the $500 lens that you can buy on eBay or Amazon. You know what I mean? It's $500.
Same company?
Same company.
Yep.
$500 glass in a $2,500 housing.
Is that what these are? It's $2,500?
$2,500. So that's like, look, the lenses are cool. People like Rokinon because they were able to get cheap cinema lenses, right? Lenses that they ramp the aperture. They had nice gears built in so they could do fall focus.
Well, they look legit.
They look legit. But look, if you're going to spend $2,500 a lens, step up to Zeiss, step up to Schneider, something that's more reputable that you're going to be able to rent, or if you're not renting, that is actually going to look better. And so I don't know about these lenses. In fact, I've seen so many people trying to sell these lenses. Like this company themselves, like, we've got a really great special going on right now, and they just keep bringing the price down and down and down, trying to...
They can't be selling at $2,500 each.
No.
I don't understand it.
I've not heard of a single person that's bought these lenses yet. I'm sure they've sold them, but I'm not excited about them.
All right, well, let's move on then.
Yep.
Can I rant for 1 second?
Yeah, please.
I did this on my little piece that I shot with Pi from SLR Lounge.
Okay.
But I'm gonna just one more time rant. I was down taking a picture of the Broad, a new museum downtown.
Right.
We had our camera set up, and these 2 employees of the Broad came out and stood in front of our cameras, said, "You may not photograph the building. It's a trademarked building. You can't take any pictures of it." Now, we're on public property. We weren't on the Broad's property, but it was, it's on the sidewalk, but it is public property. And they stood in front of our, and basically finished our time lapse for us because they stood in front of us. And wouldn't let us take a picture.
Is the Broad?
Of course,
is it
Pi
that
had
new,
just
really interesting?
Yes, the square box with the kind of the scales on the side and the little eye in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great building, fabulous building, but I was just really kind of shocked by the attitude of the employees there. They were just really. Yeah. I was on public property. You can come out and tell me, hey, this is building's trademarked. If you use it to make money, it's going to be a problem. We're going to come after you. I mean, although I think that in and of itself is a really dumb idea because, like the Disney building, who has made that absolutely public domain, they want you to do pictures of the Disney building. They like that. They want it to become an icon of LA. The Broad should do the same. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
of course, I think Kate made the best comment. It's an art museum. Who doesn't want any artists to take pictures of it?
Yeah, that seems ridiculous to me. And there have to be some laws about what is within view of the public, right? So, like, if a celebrity's on the street and you're on public property, you can take pictures of a celebrity, right? And you can sell those pictures.
You can.
And so, how can a building be any different? Even if it's like,
well, if it's trademarked,
so you can't sell it. I get that.
You can't sell it.
But you can take pictures of something. Right?
You can take pictures all you want, and the fact that they stopped us would be
illegal.
Illegal, yeah, it's illegal.
Yeah.
And that's. But they also can stand on a public street anywhere they want
and block your shot.
Yeah,
sure.
they can. They didn't do anything. They really didn't do anything illegal.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that because they can stand anywhere they want on a public street.
Yeah.
So.
But they didn't kick you out.
No.
Of the property. They just stood in front of your cameras.
Yeah. And proceeded to tell us that we couldn't take pictures of the building.
Really?
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I guess we should have just let our time lapse go for 3 days. See how long they'd stand there. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would have been.
Filibuster the
The broad. We're taking care of all
everybody.
photographers, come.
Next Saturday, we're gonna filibuster the broad.
Anyway, I hope that kind of you know, that sense of we're going to make money on our building is just interesting to me. Of course, the Hollywood sign has done that for years. You cannot take a picture of the Hollywood sign and sell it in any arena without the Hollywood sign coming out.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's
I
a
did not know
trademark.
that.
Trademark, Pete. So I've tried to do it on greeting cards before. Tried to do it in advertisements before. You've got to pay a fee to the Hollywood sign.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
all right, we should go on.
Yep.
Okay, GoPro.
Yeah, let's talk about them. So this camera,
we love the GoPro.
Remember this camera was announced, the really small one.
Small one?
It's like 25% lighter, 25% smaller, and immediately when we heard the $400 price tag, we went, no, it's overpriced. That they're not going to sell any of them, and they didn't, and they had to lay off 7% of their employees.
Can you believe that?
And they lowered the price they cut it in half. Now it's a $200 camera.
Is it really? Same camera? $200?
$200. Yeah.
What do they do to the people who bought them? Do they say,
don't know.
sorry, here's your $200?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Give them GoPro bucks. I don't know. They are discontinuing a couple of their cameras. That little $200 GoPro Session, they're still going to sell that. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of years with GoPro.
GoPro. Moving ahead.
Yep.
All right, what else we got?
Oh, let's see. So the Sony, we've been talking about affordable still 4K cameras, and the Sony A6300 is an APS-C sensor camera for $1,000 that does 4K internal. So
is that going to compete with the Panasonic?
Panasonic what?
I don't know. No, the G4?
Oh, yeah, the G4, yeah. I think so. How much is the G4? They're like $1,300, $1,400. But this has a bigger sensor. Yeah. And so I think for right now the Sony's probably winning, and it's $1,000, so it's cheaper with a bigger sensor. So, man.
It's just fascinating to me because trying to set up and do a really nice little thing for my mother who's trying to start a YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's really fascinating to me because in the end she's going, I'm just going to shoot it with my phone.
Yeah.
It's like, so you can have all this stuff, and in the end, if it just isn't, sometimes I think we're YouTube headed and internet headed, and so what's the point of making all this, But that's, anyway. Yeah. Going on. What else do you have on your list?
Let's see. That's pretty much it. We talked about the 1DX. We talked about, have you seen these little ice light?
Oh yeah, the ice light knockoff. Yes, like they're $62.
$62. These ice lights, which you use all the time, they're really handy.
I love the ice light. Yeah,
but they're $500. So they're just not super affordable. And that company, we love them on Amazon. That makes all that really, really, really inexpensive, like the Newer and I can't even pronounce the names because they're very Asian. But they make this ice light knockoff for $62.
$62.
But that's got multiple colors. It's like it's all these LED lights, and you can customize them. You can get greens and reds and blues and in betweens, But my thing is, if you just want it for a nice light, find out where the color is because it's gonna be green or magenta. It's gonna be like so
daylight
green.
With green.
Yeah. So get
tungsten with magenta.
Find out how much it's shifting. Get a little gel and just tape it on and just leave it on.
Leave it on.
Yeah. But if you're getting, $62, they gotta be handy.
But the reality is though, they're gonna shift too because as they age, they're not gonna keep the same color.
You don't think so?
No,
Probably not.
That's part of the problem. As they get older, they're not gonna be. They're not even consistently inconsistent. Yeah. They're inconsistent on a consistent basis. Yeah. And you could gel them, but they're going to change. But hey, you'd love to think that between $62 and $500, there's a reason, and there is. The color's going to be a lot more on.
Here's where I think they'd be really handy. Is in like music videos where you do want just wacky colors, right?
You don't care.
You don't care. You just want like this maybe a flare, just kind of like edge it in, right? And just keep it blue or red or green, and then just get these weird wacky, blue plus a weird green shift color.
So there's an LED for $62. If you're on set, you can buy 10 of those.
I know.
Throw them around on set. So it's fabulous.
And make great lightsaber bases.
Yeah.
So we're happy to be back. Back trends. What is
Photo
it?
video trends.
Photo video trends. We're
So-
excited. So click on the link down below. I think we're going to have in the description.
The affiliate program.
The affiliate program to help support the photo video trends. We're happy to be back.
Yeah. So check out one of those inexpensive lights through Amazon.
Yeah.
Support the affiliate program. Be a great light to start off with.
Love you guys.
All right, keep those cameras rolling. Keep on clicking. The Slanted business coaching class is back. People have been asking me, when are you going to do it again? Well, it's time. We're going to start March 3rd. Get on our free call. It's an hour-and-a-half free call. We're going to teach you the daily routine for success, and then we're going to get ourselves started. We're going to grow our businesses. So it's back. The Slanted business coaching class. Sign up for the free call today. So Stuart Barsonis, a longtime listener, actually worked for the Slanted, asked if we had pizza today. And we did.
Yep, we did it for you, Stuart.
We did. You know, we electrocuted Stuart, shot him with a fire extinguisher, dropped things on him. We did all kinds of things to Stuart. It's a wonder he still listens to the Slanted Lands.
It's a wonder he's still alive.
It is a wonder he's still alive. So, Stuart, this pizza's for you. Okay.
The old truck. Is that the sound a flamingo makes?
We have questions from trends.
Are there 2 sets in here? Mm-hmm. Great.
All right, so here we go. First off, YouTube from Jay Martin. Hey, Jay, great video. This talked about the time-lapse creating motion with shutter. He said, hey, Jay, great video. I just want to see if you can show the post work. I'm thinking you're taking pics and then putting them together in Premiere or FCP7,
Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro, or some kind of editing software. We are putting them together in Premiere with this. All these were put together, Kate put them together on the timeline in Premiere, and that's how we put together the time lapses. Very easy to do. You can do this through QuickTime Pro, or you go up and just do an image sequence. And actually, if you check out a video we had earlier on completing time-lapse sequences, check that out. It was about a year ago. It'll give you exactly how to do it.
Usually what I do if I want to get a time-lapse sequence going is I'll go to my general preferences in Premiere and I'll set my image length to 1 frame, and then I'll just grab all of my images, drop them in a timeline, right-click them all, and nest them, so it just creates 1 clip.
Nice.
And so it happens in Premiere. It's super quick, very simple, and it creates a video file basically. So
there you go. But if you don't have Premiere and you want to just do it in QuickTime,
that's
easy
awesome.
way to do it.
Awesome.
6 tips for setting up a home studio. I've got a 2 and 2.5 by 7 rolls of brick paper, and he's got. How can I turn this into a backdrop? Hopefully, one that will roll up or tuck away.
2.5 feet.
By 7, that's so hard. You're like piecing those together. I mean, you can try to tape them onto a piece of seamless. You can tape them onto a piece of either Luan, which is like 1/4-inch plywood, and put that on a frame. But you're now talking about it's not going to roll up any longer. So that's a pretty hard thing to do. I would say you're better off to check out some kind of brick print you can get through either Denny's, which is a backdrop company.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places out there that'll get you a backdrop that has that brick on it already that will roll up. It's going to be on a muslin or some kind of a soft material. So
Yeah.
but I think doing small pieces like that are going to be hard.
That's going to be real hard. How expensive is that, though, if you want to get like let's say you just go like an 8x10?
Oh,
backdrop.
$150?
Is that all?
$200?
Oh, that's
yeah.
a great deal.
Yeah, they're not super expensive anymore. They're really
I
not.
went to- I
For those
tried to-
smaller sizes, they're not.
I tried to rent a backdrop. You gave me a company that I tried to rent from.
Oh, yeah, JC Backings?
Yeah, JC Backings. It was like $600 to rent like a 12 by 12 foot backdrop.
Yeah, they're very high end. They have gorgeous backdrops, but they're pretty high end.
Oh my gosh, we ended up just doing green screen. I shot plates instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was insane. And it was. I mean, there was a lot of reasons, but ultimately we really couldn't even find what we were looking for, and then
That's the problem.
That's the
Is
problem.
there one out there that does
I'm
what you
sure
want to
they
do?
had their library was insane.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, we just shot green screen and I shot plates. So, all right, Harry Proudlove. Aren't all these contraptions having the potential to be massive fire hazards? This is 6 tips for setting up a home studio. And I would agree.
Lars did say that when we're making a styrofoam light box.
With like a 300-watt light bulb based off of a 100-watt cord. I was just going, there's like 4 different things that could explode any second here.
Hey, you know what? You can't win here. If I use a good light, it's like, why don't you use good lights? If I use a poor light, you're going to burn the place down.
Right, yep,
you know?
yep. It's true.
The reality is, you kind of get what you pay for, you know. And everyone that
true.
I know that's bought a cheap light eventually buys a good light.
It's true.
I mean, if they're going to stay in the
It's the
business, or
truth.
they just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Tony, how do you say his last name?
Ladacorpi?
A 300-watt bulb inside a styrofoam cooler. Good luck with that.
Yep. That was exactly what I said. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
so I'm going to turn on a camera on a cooler with a styrofoam, and I'm going to turn that light on, and I'm going to see how long before it bursts into flame.
Please do.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to see,
That
is
would
it like
be
a day,
so
3
fun.
days, a month? What is it?
An hour?
Yeah, an hour.
I would love that. Just do
I
a
will
little
do
time
that.
lapse.
Just a little, see what happens.
Okay. Also, from the same video, Lori Rodov. Man, did this video just like
We get
drop
a lot
in Scandinavia?
No, well, I don't know. Yeah, it just arrived in Scandinavia.
Okay, he said, what kind of stands are you using for that backdrop? Where to buy them? I'm not able to drill my ceiling. Thank you.
Well, the backdrop that we put up were the pipes that we use that you could drill into the ceiling, or we had it on C-stands, just regular Century stands. You can get them on all the different, I mean, any of the photo companies out there. Kupo makes them, Norms makes them, Matthews, American. I mean, there's all kinds of different places, companies that make them. They're just a good heavy-duty stand. They can hold a lot of weight.
Get
It's a
C-stands.
great-
C-stands are the best.
They are they're a great purchase.
love
They're worth
C-stands.
purchasing. Now, in my mind, are they the best stand to take on location things? If for a photographer who's doing small shoots, no, they're not. They're a little too heavy, a little too big. You can get some great flat stands. Kupo makes a stand that stacks. They stack in a stack of 4 or 3 or 4. They're heavy duty, but they stack. You can carry them on location. So I'll put the link in the description below. See what you think.
Great. Okay.
All right, so where are we at here?
Camera movement. How to create emotion. So, noob. Well, okay. There's a
No baloney. We'll just say no
baloney
baloney.
888.
No baloney.
Said, isn't the Zolly called the push-pull effect? No, the Zolly is not called the push-pull effect. The push-pull effect is actually a term in color correction, where you pull the blacks into a teal color and you push the highlights into more of an orange color. So you get kind of that Michael Bay push-pull effect is what they call it. But the Zolly is called the Zolly, and it's a zoom/dolly shot where you kind of compress the background or you expand it, and your subject stays relatively the same size.
First use in Vertigo. That
So
movie.
yeah,
Not first use, but Hitchcock used it.
Hitchcock. That's like where it's probably most known as the movie Vertigo. But yeah, that's the Zolly. Is all I've ever known it as.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, creating a fantasy portrait. This is from a individual. It says me. I guess I was asking about this.
Yes, of course.
No, I love this comment though. Simple. Are you serious? Even having that much space to shoot in is insanely out of reach for most people. You know what I love about these comments? I absolutely love these comments, and I'm thankful that you said this, so thank you. The reality is, it had nothing to do with the space we were in. It had everything to do with controlling the light. I could have shot that in my driveway at night and set a backdrop up and done everything there very easily. I could have shot that on a hillside with those elements, with the sky in the background as my background. I could have shot that, 3 or 4 different ways. I just had a studio and a stage that day, and that's the way we did it. It's the principles. Wrap your arm around the principles, that there are things there. It was simple elements in that we got some grass, we cut a tree branch off, and that became our world for this little this girl to live in.
I remember that one.
And then in the background was the backdrop, but you could have used the background, could have been the sunset, could have been
anything.
Could have been anything.
So
Put it in your house, you know. So.
even the lights that we're using, you can substitute those for the sun or a building that you're bouncing light into. So you look for those things and you try to create a simple portrait.
The principles are there.
Yep. Cool.
All right, so moving on.
8 ways you know you're ready to start charging for your photography business. MAF36 said, "Hi, great advice. Thank you. Recently I was asked by a wedding photographer/videographer to edit wedding videos. He saw a couple of my multicam edits from my local church's webpage and he was impressed. His company wants to outsource the editing and to reduce customer wait time. He asked for an hourly rate. What's a good rate to start? Single cam, 2 camera, 3 cam edit. Please help." I think $25 is a pretty good place
That's
to
what I was
start.
going to say. $25 is a good place to
If
start.
you know how to set up a multicam sequence and you're editing in something professional like Premiere, then $25
if
is
you
a
know all
pretty
those
good-
things. If you don't feel confident in those things, then $25 is way overpriced.
Right, maybe $12.50,
Yeah.
$15. If you want to just get experience and learn these things, then man, anything above minimum wage is totally acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you feel competent and you know that you're worth $25 an hour and you're quick at it and you already know what to do and what they need, then yeah, 25 I think is a great place to start for an editor.
Okay. Moving on, making a green screen, DIY equipment. This was yours.
It was mine.
What about the lighting? I'm trying to do it in my bedroom because I broadcast my video game play. It's not working too well. Is the size of my space not enough? Also, the program I'm using, the Chrome key, is a PlayStation camera.
What?
Is that good enough?
Probably
I don't
not.
think this would be that difficult.
So what you're trying to do with the green screen is you're trying to find an exposure that's consistent throughout the green. And so, yeah, maybe you need more space because there's something called the inverse square law in lighting, which means basically the closer your light is to subject, the darker the background's going to be. So if I bring this light really close to my face and expose to my face, you're not going to see anything else.
It's going to fall off too fast.
Right. So, but if I bring that back as far as I can, the lighting's going to be very consistent across either a green screen or our faces. And so, if your green screen's really bright in one spot and really dark in another spot, your PlayStation's not going to be able to key that out. So, you want to try and keep the lighting as consistent across the green as possible. Make sure there's no shadows from yourself that are on it, and try that.
You know, as simple as your setup is, buy a couple of those cheap wand lights.
$62 wand lights.
$62.
Just put one of those on either side. Maybe try that.
It's going to help.
You're right. It's just right behind you, right up to the sides, and just kind of try and light that evenly.
We need to do a lesson on lighting green screen. A lot of people have asked about it. Okay, going off to a stop action. This is from Abriko Volg, A-B-R-I-K-O.
Okay.
It says, I don't understand the goal to use laser. If I want to get a splash, I just set my camera to take 5 pictures by second. I think 5 pictures a second.
Yeah.
The reality is when the water hits somebody, it isn't 5 images in a second. It is already 5 times way too slow. I mean, the light has hit, and it's a millisecond process. The moment the water is hit, the minute the water hits the face, it's a milliseconds before that goes away. Your camera shutter is not going to reset fast enough to get the second shot. So you get one chance. You can just try to hit it. Just try to hit it, and you may get it, you might. But when you set up a laser, I know I get it every single time.
Yeah.
And the other issue is your strobes aren't going to recycle that fast. Well, if you put them on way low on their power, you can get several pops in a row.
In a second?
Yeah, not a second. No.
Maybe 1 a second.
No. Somewhere when you get on low power, you'll get faster than a second.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Lighting a kitchen disaster. Alex said, thanks for sharing this, JP. I need clarity on white balance and color temperature and how you apply them in your shoots. Thanks.
Well, pretty simple. I mean, I'm going to start off by balancing my camera to the strobes, which is as daylight.
5,600 kelvins.
Yep. And so from there, I can push the color around in the scene, and I can creatively do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
I can make some blue light come through the window. I can make the light in the dishwasher warm. You can start using it. So what your basic question is color balance and
gels, I think.
And gels. I think you need to look at, we have a very early lesson on Slanted Lens talking about white balancing your camera. What that means. So I would look for things about white balancing your camera, and not just white balance your camera, but understanding the color temperature of what daylight temperature is, what tungsten temperature is. That'll help you. But once you know those things, then it's a matter of you use it to creatively make decisions. All color does not have to be spot on. In fact, I think all color spot on is kind of boring all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I shoot almost on my Alexa. I shoot almost exclusively at 4,200 kelvins, white balance, which means that my daylight is actually a little bit more blue, and my tungsten is a little bit more orange, and it's just got a really, really pretty. And I'll take some of the green out depending on the shoot. So if I want more of a grunge look, I'll keep the green. But if I'm shooting more of a product like a commercial or something pretty, I'll leave it at 4,200, but I'll do -3 green. And so it makes the skin tones pop, and they stay nice and crispy and red, but everything else is kind of this really blue, almost metallic kind of look to it.
That's a thought. I'd love to see you show an example of that on a Slanted Lens. Wouldn't that be great?
I'd love to.
That would really be fabulous. Yeah. Okay, let's go on here. Clamps. Wonderful overview, but what about the ever-popular C47 clothespin? For next to nothing, a handful for holding gels and other small light applications frees up your A clamps for bigger jobs. You're absolutely right. They're used on set all the time.
You've got bags of them. In fact, I think every single one of your bags has,
I want
has
to
a,
bag them in every bag
pocket of clothespins.
Yep.
C47s.
C47s.
Don't you dare call them clothespins.
Absolutely, because that would sound way too low end.
Oh, man, of course. All right, so learning how to feather a softbox. Ben McCartney said, this video is amazing, clear, and informative. I love how you showed the lights effect on the model in real time. Is there a softbox that you would recommend for a Westcott Flex 10x10 LED panel, or would a silk scrim be better?
What do you think? You got LED. You got these square panel LEDs.
I've got lots of LEDs. In fact, I almost shoot exclusively on my LEDs these days from light panels, and I drop 4x4 frames in front of them almost all the time.
With what kind of gel?
Depends on what I want to
Diffusion.
do. I've got Opal Frost. I've got 216, 250, or my favorite's probably Light Grid. I love the look of
Do you
Light Grid.
light grid? Takes up a lot of light though.
Well, just get half grid.
Half grid, yeah.
Half grid is just like it's soft and but it's still sourcey, the half, and or even quarter. It doesn't make as much noise. So if there is wind, you're not going to get that
outside,
flapping.
you really have to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a very, very pretty, soft looking scrim. So that's what I do. I just drop it in a 4x frame.
Charlie Still says, "Oh my, that was terrific, gang. So glad you didn't have to clean it up, and thank you for taking several plates. Idea as we build the scene that you can be a huge time saver when compositing it all together." I think he's talking about we did the plates at the end. We shot plates at the end. And still, Julina always is so mad at me when I forget to do it. But if I got all this stuff and you got to retouch, if I don't get a clean plate of the background, without talent, with everything in it, then she can use that to fill in places where, the talent, if you got something here you got to get rid of, and she gives her background for that. It goes a lot faster for her.
That's
so it is a great tip.
That's something, look, when I'm doing plates on a film set, having an AC or a DIT or a script supervisor is almost entirely worth it just to remind me to get plates.
Get plates.
Because you as a director or as a photographer, or me as a director of photography, that's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about,
you're thinking about a
million other things. And so having someone there to remind you to take some plates is totally worth it. Hey, so we're gonna get into some Facebook comments real fast. Kenny Rimmeyer said, "What are your thoughts on 360 video being used as a marketing tool, and what do you think are some of the best applications for 360 video?" I just filmed the the virtual reality Los Angeles convention, and there was a lot of interesting ideas going around. But from a cinema perspective and a commercial perspective, I think you've got two different worlds. 360 for commercial application, I don't know. I really just don't know.
The delivery system's a problem.
Yeah.
How do you get people to look at this?
My friend shot a music video in 3D and posted it on YouTube, and it's just one linear line. It's just a super, super wide.
3D, 360.
360. A 360 video, and it was just like, this is supposed to leave off where this is, but there's no way unless you've got a sphere that you're walking around that you can see a 360 video.
Or you're in what is it called, a rift, an Oculus Rift?
An Oculus Rift where you can actually turn around and you control it.
The problem with, this is my point of view about it, 360 video, the value of cinema video or cinematography is that I get to make the viewer look at what I want them to see.
What you don't want them to see.
Yeah. And so, exactly. If I want them to know that my character is concerned about something on the table, then I cut to a shot on the table. I don't have that going on the table and hope my viewer is going to see it behind them.
Yeah.
You
direct the photography. You direct the camera as a cinematographer, and that's where the disconnect is. You've got two competing worlds. You've got a world that was created by the game community, and I just heard them talking about this, introducing this 360 world into cinema, and how for the first time ever you're able to you're able to give the viewer his freedom to look around a space and direct his own photography. But that's not the art of what we do, and that's where I have a problem with it.
Yep. Well, let's go on.
Yep.
Ramus Stubby, what light setup and brand do you recommend for shooting commercials, music videos, and likewise it has to be mobile, battery charged. Any suggestions? That's a broad question. Broad question.
I love light panels or FMV.
See, this is where Lars and I differ, because I use all of the Roscoe stuff. The new Roscoe Silk Light, the 210 Silk Light,
amazing.
is fabulous for this kind of stuff. It is very punchy. It gives you a lot of intensity. I mean, I just think that's one of the best lights I've seen in a long, long time.
And we used it for one of our commercials, and it was like, I mean, I couldn't believe the quality coming out of this thing.
Yeah.
But
It's an expensive light.
Yeah.
This is not something you're going to pick up for a few dollars.
No.
It does have a battery option. But anyway, this is something we have to do a whole lesson on because there's so many different options. Let's move on.
Yeah, but even your battery option though, real quick, you're gonna get either a gold mount standard Anton Bauer or a V mount, and those are expensive batteries. Even
$350 each for batteries.
Yeah, even if you get like the Chinese knockoff brand, they're still expensive. I mean, my last ones were 230 watt hours, and they were $250 a piece.
Yeah.
And that was like shipped from the manufacturer in China. Like I had a friend that was like, yeah, just get this guy. So it's expensive. Mark Kuhn said, great, mirrorless cameras. Do commercial photographers use them? Is there really any advantage to them other than the weight?
Well, commercial photographers definitely use them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're being used everywhere. Weight, I mean, you got a full frame sensor, you got a lightweight camera.
Yeah, you take the lens reflex out, which means you're basically reducing the width of the camera in half, basically. And other than the weight, I'd say the sound. Now you don't have an actual mirror that's jumping up and down. But other than that, I think that's pretty, in my mind, that's the weight and the sound.
It's hard not to get confused with the fact that Sony has done some really incredible things to their cameras that don't have anything to do with the fact that they're mirrorless.
Yeah, so 4K internal, you got this beautiful 40 megapixel sensor with better dynamic range than the 5D. So there's all these things that you go, oh, is that because it's mirrorless?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's because of the sensor.
It's because of Sony.
Yeah, it's because of Sony and what they're doing there. So anyway, I think you choose mirrorless because they're small and they're compact, and that's a great solution,
Yeah, that's what I take the A7, it's still the A7S, the original. I take that with my wife and I on vacation. That's what we use. Yeah.
But when you add Sony's, like their technology and where they're at in the market, they're so far ahead, it makes that mirrorless camera really, really attractive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the reason people are gravitating to them.
Great.
So there you have it. Photo video trends, questions for the month. We need your support. To support trends, you've got to go and look at things that you may need and purchase through our affiliate program.
It's in the description. It's
in the description.
We say show more,
Check
and there's
it
like
out.
little links there. Go buy some of the stuff we just talked about. I think
That's
it's
right.
cool stuff. I'm going to do it.
There you go. Buy some clothespins.
Yeah. Keep those cameras
Which
rolling.
you can buy on Amazon.
You can.
We'll put that link up so you can buy some clothespins.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
So there you go. So keep those cameras rolling. Keep on clicking.